Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 21 million. Fixing my camera. Wild day, wild weekend. We have SVB being not bailed out, but they're totally gonna, there's no ramifications for their actions, and everyone's gonna be saved. So, with that being said, the markets pumped last night, and let's take a look and see what we have. So, market cap's back over $1 trillion. We have 24-hour volume at 84 billion. It's up significantly. It's up double since we were seeing it pretty much hovering around 40 billion the last maybe 3 weeks. You know, dipping a little above, a little below. I think we saw a high maybe 2 weeks ago of 70. To 84 billion right now. We have Bitcoin dominance at 42%, and ETH dominance is the big one. That's up a full point at 19.2. And as I checked yesterday, it was hovering around 18.3 for maybe the last month, 18.2-ish. So we have Bitcoin's at $22,325. Trending. USD is up almost 2.69%. Which is wild to see that on the trending list. We have Ethereum at $15.93, BNB's at $2.97, hovering under $300. It looks like the USD dollar coin is going to be saved. It's just about back to $1. We have XRP's at 36 cents. We have Cardano at 33 cents. Polygon's at $1.11. What a deal! What a bargain! We have Dogecoin's at just under 7 cents. 69. We have Solana's at under $20, 19.25, and Litecoin $75. Keep on pointing that out. We have the Litecoin halving coming soon. So let's look at the biggest gainers and losers over the last 24 hours. So Conflict, that's been on the top for a while now. It's up 32%. Synthetics is up 32%. Makers up 29%. Big moves. I'm sure everyone's portfolios are pumping. I feel bad for the people that held USDC throughout this whole weekend because they were probably nervous that they were going to lose everything. You know, and there's people that got out. You know, it's so messed up because there's people that got out when it was 82 cents and went into something different. And even though they might have seen a gain, it's still, they could have done a USDC to USDT pair and not seen this gain. You know, they could have went into another stable coin and just lost 20%, which is so that sucks so bad. I feel bad for those people. I'm one of those people. I mean, I didn't go into a stable coin, but I went into Ethereum. You know, I went into Ethereum, but I went into Ethereum. I got in out of $1. I'm so fortunate for that. Ethereum's only up, less than 1%, 9% in the last 24 hours. So, I mean, it's better than a poke in the eye. But I wanted to go into that dip. You know, I wasn't planning on doing that move at that time. But it is what it is at this point. Let's look at the Fear and Greed Index. Oh, look at that. Looky. Back up close. We're back in the neutral, almost at 50 again. Yesterday, fear is low, I guess, is 33, which everyone was scared. Bunch of scaredy cats. Let's take a look at let's look at charts and graphs, guys. Everybody got their drinks? Got the music going? Okay, we shut off the moving averages. So we're going to take a look first at the weekly like we've been doing on the halving schedule. We're kind of right on track. And I keep on saying we're going to get those big moves to the upside. Barring any, obviously economic collapses, which apparently can happen at any moment. Something that I said was, actually, when we get to the news, I'll make that point. I get distracted. As much as we do these charts and graphs, if tomorrow there's a collapse, all this is going to go down. None of this matters. It matters to a point. It matters without outside interference, major outside interference. So we have, we're kind of still on track for, I think we're going to see, I've been calling 40,000 by May. I think we're going to hit our head on this golden pocket mid-year. June of 23, hit our head, come down, and then start to see those moves to the upside. All of a sudden, I get a little scratchy throat. Sorry, guys. So upside, I'm saying 40,000. I'm calling this. I put my line there. My toes are in the sand. Let's look at the weekly for the crypto total market cap, and we'll turn on our indicators for this. So, as you can see, last week the weekly candle wicked all the way up, got us above that trend line that was set back in June of 2022. We're still under the 200 weekly and the 50 weekly moving averages. So for me, I'm looking for the breakout above that. We want to see the break above the 200 weekly and obviously the 50 weekly. We want to drag that 50 weekly line all the way up and out. So let's go back to March of 2019 because we're kind of in that vicinity over here. You see they get close. We come down. Actually, this is March of 2020. We know what happened there. But this area over here, this is kind of where we are. And that's why I keep on saying this would be the golden pocket hit that it hit and then the move up. So that's on the total market cap. And now let's go down to the weekly on Coinbase. Binance. This is the weekly on Binance. Where's my Coinbase? I've been using both, honestly. We'll look at Binance today. Actually, before we move on, total market cap. I want to just take a look at the money flow. So money flow is curving in. VWAP is pointing up. This is coming. This is starting to point up. VWAP is cutting in. It's definitely bullish. We have RSI pointing straight up now. And I have actually the RSIs right here. So let me get rid of this. So there's no confusion. RSIs looks like it's getting a little tail. Going to curl up, hopefully. Bring up that moving average again. It's near the 50. Where is it at right now? It's just above. It's at 50. Virtually at 50. 50.7. So see that come back up. Maybe we get some movement to the upside. This is the weekly candle, okay? These are the weekly on the total market cap. And before we go to Bitcoin, one more thing I want to look at. We'll just take a look at the volatility from this past week. We had this is the USDC USDT pair on Binance. So we have here it hit a low of 82 cents and a high of $1.10, which is wild for a stable coin. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin on the weekly. Okay, so this is on the Binance. They're pairing. I think I'm going to use Binance from now on. For some reason, I feel like I trust them more now. Coinbase is so not only did something I didn't pull up, but just so everyone knows, not only did Coinbase Circle have their money in SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, but Coinbase was holding money in Signature Bank. So Coinbase and Circle they avoided certain death. I mean, that would have killed them. It would kill them. Because like I pointed out yesterday, on Coinbase's website, they said that they would redeem 1 USDC for $1. So if USDC went to 50 cents, I would imagine that would hurt. But that's why I think I'm going to use Binance from now on for purposes of just because they have higher volume. So we have here in the weekly, we still have our red dot. We have the VWAP is cutting in now, which is definitely bullish. VWAP is cutting up. Money flow is cutting up. So it's starting to look a little bit better. Let's look at the RSI pointing up. So yeah, so the weekly is starting to look a little bit more bullish for Bitcoin. And like I've been saying, barring any economic collapses, right? So let's go take a step down. I've been looking at the 3-day a lot, like we looked at yesterday, just because it's a little bit more bullish. So yesterday, I didn't hit the close yesterday. At 7 o'clock I went on. It's going to close at 8. From now on Sundays, I'll be on at 8. But this is those fib levels. Looks like we're getting rejected at the 22,407 on the daily. This is very local for the daily, for the 3-day, sorry. Getting above that 50-day moving average and hopefully moving our way up to the 200 3-day moving average. Let's look at the daily. Let's see where we stand. Yeah, we were right above it. Look, this is the red is the 200, yellow is the 50. So we're above the 50 now, the 50-day moving average. So this is the point where we're going to want to see a nice bounce. So let's go back to the daily in 2019. Let's see. Let's look at history. Some people don't like doing this, but history is important. So yeah, we're back here. So yeah, so this would be where we would potentially be, and we're going to look for a hard movement. We want to see a hard movement off of it to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. And like I say all the time, Bitcoin does things in big ways. So a hard movement up, I want to see it blow through that 25,000. I think it was like 25.3. Yeah, 25,254. This point, which has been keeping us, if we look back, it got us twice. I'm just going to do the weeklies for the sake of seeing it better. So it got us here and then again here. So I think we're going to see a sharp movement up on Bitcoin soon. And then that will be the start where people are no longer questioning whether we are in a bear market or a bull market. Let's go a little bit, let's go to the 12. Let's look at a 12-hour. So something we looked at yesterday, which when we get to the lower time frames I'll show. Hopefully this money flow is bleeding up, because it seems like it is, because you can see it's kind of starting to come up. VWAP is pointing down. The 12-hour looks a little bit more bearish. I wonder if there's any... So this is, big movements up, filling those gaps. This is the gap that we said the other day that we were kind of curious about. Everybody was saying it was going to get filled back up to 22.2. If you kept your longs, you would have made out today. Let's go down a little bit more. I'll be honest with you guys, the daylight savings crushed me. I am so tired today. I got to snap out of it. Today's going to be a 2-cup coffee day. We're going to go down to the 4-hour now. On the 4-hour, looking bullish. So I would imagine on the 4-hour, we're going to start seeing some type of bear flag start to paint out. It's probably too soon to even guess. But yeah, it's looking for a bear flag to kind of print, a bull flag to print out. We'll see a little sharp movement down and start to see some up and down movement before a breakup. That's what I'm looking for. So we have, keep in mind now in the 4-hour, those trigger waves. Okay, so right now I'm looking for a trigger wave. I'm looking for this money flow to start to creep up. I am looking for the VWAP to come down and point up, and I'm looking for a momentum wave to come with a green dot, and that will be the play up for me. Not financial advice, but that's something that I'm going to be looking for going into the week. It's so funny how you go from bearish to bullish. Yesterday I was texting a friend how got to look for shorts, but now you got to look for longs. So 4 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, we start to see it's in the green. Okay, it's starting to curl up. VWAP is pointing up, bullish. 2 hour, we are in the green now. Hopefully that starts to get nice and thick. 3 hour. So 3 hour, you can see the red is starting to come in. It's curling up. The VWAP is pointing up. So it's bullish. And hopefully this bleeds into all these other timelines. Okay, so soon enough, we're going to see that in the 4 hour. And we're going to look for that VWAP crossing up. And for me, the big signal is going to be something that looks similar to this. Okay, so you got the green dot, up, trigger wave, and then we're going to see that big movement up. It doesn't have to do that, but it's quite impressive how much it does work. Not financial advice. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's take a look at, so something else to watch today is going to be our good friend Dixie. So Dixie on the weekly, we're not looking at the 4 hour. Oops. So yes, let me lock this in so I don't do that ever again. All right, so we had the bounce off of 102, up the rejection. We're going to look for the dollar to come down today. Dollar to come down all week. We want the dollar to come down, 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 down. Probably hit the 200 weekly, which coincidentally coincides with that golden pocket. Any actions through this, you can see it had some trouble over here, and then a sharp movement up, maybe a sharp movement down this time. So maybe this could be the all-time high of 114. I think over the past, the 100 mark has been pretty toppy. I don't know, it had gone up as high as 163, geez. 1985. Tough. Yeah, it gradually came down. So yeah, we're looking for it to come down. So let's look at the 10-year bonds, the rates. Let's go to the daily and see. Yeah, no, that thing is coming down. The rate's coming down. That's good. That means that inflation is coming down. This is a good mark. It's actually crashing. So I'd be very surprised tomorrow if the CPI doesn't come out and it's positive for the market. So you can see the market pump. You can really see the market pump this week. It's got legs. Another thing to keep in mind. So XBI crashed out, obviously. So biotech was big. Biotech was big with SVB, and they got hurt significantly. So I think you're going to see these SVB, these biotech firms start to turn around and start to get bullish. I think they're going to gain significantly. I just want to chart this quick. I have that there. Oh, let's see. I like my new arrows in the blue. So you can see, bang, went down. I think it's going to try to regain back into this trend level. So for me, getting back to $80, I don't think is too far off for a company like XBI. Getting back into the trend level like we saw with, what chart is that? As we see with Bitcoin, getting back into its trend, happen quick. So something to keep an eye on would be, like I said, those biotech firms, those biotech companies like XBI. I had that chart on the daily. Yeah, so here. You see it banged off that golden pocket. That was probably the bottom. And then we're going to start to see them coming up. Let's take a look at GBDC. There's a couple I want to see. So we looked at the bonds. Like I said, we want the rates to come down. We want Dixie to come down. That's what we're looking for as markers that the economy is going to start to turn around, pivot. Tomorrow CPI comes out. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that. Let's look at GBTC. So GBTC had come down a little bit, had a little bit of a rally. It's down. Pre-market's up a little bit. It's $12.20. It closed at 11.27. So we're going to see. Yeah, it's from Friday still. So it's going to open up high. I would imagine it's going to be quite bullish, and I keep on saying to watch out for the 200 weekly, because I think it's gonna hit that soon. It's bouncing off of the 50-day, so keep an eye on that. Let's look at the 50. Yeah, the weekly is way higher. The 50 weekly moving average for GBTC is at almost $19, over $19. So that's going to be something you're going to see. I think it's going to definitely start to play with that number, especially because the weekly moving average on Bitcoin, Bitcoin's right at it. The 200 weekly moving average. So definitely keep an eye on GBTC. That might be a nice play to get into. Not financial advice. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. So a couple of news articles I want to go over. So it says here, on CoinDesk, Silicon Valley Bank clients can fully access funds after FDIC creates new bridge bank. Loans and other services will resume on normal schedule Monday following a switch to a new bridge bank, the regulator said. So it says, I'm not going through this whole article. All depositors of the institution will be made whole, the FDIC said. No losses associated with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank will be borne by taxpayers. So we have the federal government stepping in. They said there's going to be no bailout, but this is virtually a bailout. You're bailing out this bank, and I guess you're bailing out. And in reality, this isn't a regular bank. This isn't normal people. Keep this in mind. These are businesses. These are biotech companies. This USDC. This isn't a regular checking account that, the common Joe goes and uses. He doesn't have a checking account with SVB. So it's just it's silly. It's just silly. They're stupid. And what makes it even dumber is so Biden vows to hold those responsible for Silicon Valley Bank. I hate that the advertising is so annoying. It takes up the whole screen. Biden vows to hold those responsible for Silicon Valley Bank failure fully accountable. I am firmly committed to holding those responsible for this mess fully accountable and to continuing our efforts to strengthen oversight and regulation of larger banks so that we are not in this position again. So either he must think we're like stupid, because it's like the bank's only in trouble because the rates were raised. Okay, so then it's like, okay, so we'll go with that for a moment. So we raised rates. We did. Powell raised rates for the Federal Reserve on behalf of the Federal Reserve. He raises rates. So now, so he's held accountable, I guess. Or do you ask, why did he raise rates? Okay, so why did they raise rates? It's because of the stimulus. Those stimulus packages that were during, the pandemic. So they raised rates because the money was just, the printer ran off it was too much. Too much money was printed. So he had to raise rates. So who's held accountable then? It's the president himself. This is his fault. He did this. So it's crazy to think that him saying that, those are just buzzwords and buzz phrases. He's going to hold whoever's accountable, because the common person probably doesn't know to connect those dots. So next one, we got Yellen warns U.S. House members of economic collapse from default. So Yellen, on the other hand, in a budget testimony before the Republican-controlled House Ways and Means Committee said the failure to increase the $31.4 trillion borrowing cap would threaten the economic progress the U.S. has made since COVID-19. So So she's saying we're not going to bail out the banks. He's saying we're going to hold those accountable. And then in the meantime, they're trying to increase. They increase they want to borrow more. Like they're going to borrow more from the Federal Reserve. They're going to print more money. She's saying we got to print more money to pay our debts off. So it's bizarre how people don't catch on to this. And this is all within the span of, this is Friday, she said this at the committee. This came out March 10th. She said that on the 10th, which was Friday. And then he's saying this on Sunday. And she's saying no bailouts. But in the meantime, they pretty much are bailing out every bank. Nobody's going to be held accountable. Which brings on a whole nother issue. Because if banks aren't being held accountable, too big to fail, what's the penalty? I mean, what's the risk? There's no risk. You know, they're not going to go out of business. Nobody's going to get hurt. So where's the risk? And in the midst of it all, where's Gary? Like, why hasn't Gary Gensler, like, how is he not keeping an eye on this, on those banks, on FTX? That guy's going to get fired. That guy's the worst. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. And I will see you guys, hopefully not as tired, tomorrow morning. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll be here at 9 a.m. and we will see how the CPI goes. Have a great day and be careful.